Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to my subscribers. This is where we talk about money, saving, and turning your hard-earned money into wealth-building assets. This is Bald Guy Money. I'm obviously Bald Guy. Let's talk money. In this video, I am going to tell you exactly how much gold and silver I think people should own to be secure from financial uncertainty. In case you're wondering if my answer will be something as simple as 5% of your net worth, it won't be. In this video, I will detail how much gold and silver I think people should own based in actual weight terms as a minimum, and show a clear path for you, the viewer, on how to achieve that based on where you stand on the income scale. So watch to the very end, you won't want to miss any of this. Just before we get going, kind reminder that none of this is financial advice. Please remember to do your own research and question what people are telling you about finance and building wealth. And if your goal is to become rich, question people who are telling you you can become rich by following these easy steps. That's crucial. And if you like what you see, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. It actually kind of keeps me going, it keeps me doing these videos for you guys, so that would be much appreciated. Now, to gold and silver ownership. In my opinion, they are crucial assets to hold, especially if your main currency is not the US dollar, but also if your main currency is the US dollar. But it's something that I think everybody should have some of. But how much do I think is the right amount? Let's pull up the graphic. Okay, so in my opinion, it is important for everyone to strive to collect at least 5 ounces of gold and 200 ounces of silver. And that also includes my recommended split of 50 ounces of silver in sovereign coins, like Eagles, Maple Leafs, or Britannias, for example, and 150 ounces in reputable silver bars. That amount is equivalent to $14,300 as of today, July 30th, as I'm filming this video. And that also equates to a 40-to-1 ratio between silver and gold. So for every 40 ounces of silver you have, that's 1 ounce of gold. In percentage terms, that is a 64% dollar value allocation to gold and a 36% dollar value allocation to silver, as it stands today. And the reason I follow this split is because gold is historically less volatile and less manipulated than silver, and it is easier to store because it's smaller. Just take a look at what I have here in front of me. Here I have 1 ounce of gold, the approximate cash amount that it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold, and 71 ounces of silver, which equal 1 ounce of gold today. You can easily see how it may become difficult holding too much of your wealth in silver, especially with respect to how are you going to store all of it. That said, my split is more in favor of silver versus what most experts recommend, which is a 70-30 split. And that's because I am particularly bullish on silver due to growing industrial demand. Please see my silver price prediction video for more details on that. Now, if you don't have that much gold or silver, or gold and silver, don't worry. And if you have a lot more than that, don't think I'm suggesting that you have too much. How I got that amount wasn't random, and it represents 2 very important numbers. The first being enough to cover the cost of living for an average American for at least 3 months. Let's pull up the graphic. Okay, so I consulted the Bureau of Labor Statistics while making this video, and I looked into what are the general costs that an average person, in this case the average American, has every month to keep themselves going. Then what I did was I separated things that were absolute necessities from things that were, let's call them, luxuries. And the absolute necessities you can see I've highlighted in red. Then I took the total dollar value of all of that, which is, you can see at the bottom of the screen there, $4,389. The next calculation I performed is this calculation, where I took the total value of the gold and silver I think every person should hold as a minimum, which today is $14,300 worth, and I divided it by the monthly cost of living on average for an American person as reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I got a number of a little more than 3 months. Now, why 3 months? 3 months is the minimum amount of coverage most experts say you should have to cover you in savings. And that is why I think it is a good target to have a minimum stash of 5 ounces of gold and 200 ounces of silver, which equate to being able to cover you for those 3 months. And you'd be surprised. As prices fluctuate and as time goes on, you'll find that that 5 ounces of gold and that 200 ounces of silver more or less equates to covering about plus minus 3 months of your cost of living. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need cash savings. You need money to pay for things on a day-to-day basis. So here's a table illustrating how long I think people should take to get to that minimum gold and silver stash broken down by income bracket. Let's bring it up. Okay, so as you can see, from my point of view, people making less than $30,000 a year should plan it out to get to that minimum level of 5 ounces of gold, 200 ounces of silver, over a 10-year period of time. For the next income bracket, $30,000 to $50,000 per year, you should take about 6 to 7 years to get to that level. The next income bracket, as you can see, about $50,000 to $80,000 per year in income, 4 years. Then 3 years for people making approximately $80,000 to $100,000 a year. For people making $100,000 to $250,000 a year, that would take us to 2 years' time. And people who are making $250,000 and above per year, it should take you approximately 1 year to dollar cost average into owning 5 ounces of gold and 200 ounces of silver. And for people who have an income of $1 million plus per year, I mean, just go to the store already and get yourself secured, right? What are you waiting for? Now, there is another reason why I go with that amount of gold and silver, and I said that there were 2 reasons earlier. And the other statistic that I want to cite as a perfect reason to go with 5 ounces of gold and 200 ounces of silver is this specific reason. Let's bring up the chart. Okay, so this table shows what the average net worth of an American is. I think it's a good benchmark even if you don't live in the USA. It also shows median net worth, which is what I pay attention to, as it is a fair representation of who is really in the middle. Because remember, the median counts all the people, let's say, lined up, and from that line of people, who is exactly standing in the middle. And this number is a better representation, in my opinion, because it takes out the super rich, which kind of skew the numbers upwards. The next 2 columns show what percentage of the average net worth or median net worth the $14,300 in gold and silver that I think every person should have is. And as you can see, for 45 to 54-year-olds, the amount of silver and gold I think every person should hold is about 8% of their median net worth. And 8% is how much I personally allocate to gold and silver to feel adequately hedged against inflation and uncertainty on the stock market and real estate market. I am sure there are some of you out there screaming at me right now saying that 8% isn't enough. And if you invest or save more than 8% in gold and silver, that's perfectly fine. Remember, this is not advice. I am not telling you what to do with your money. I am only sharing with you what it is that I do with mine. And the reason I invest or save 8% of my money in gold and silver is because it makes me feel safe that in the event of a stock market crash, where I keep about 12% of my money, brought on, for example, by a dollar crisis, which could be hyperinflation or even political instability. And I think most people can agree we're experiencing a little bit of both of those right now. So why it makes me feel safe is that I have a significant amount of savings stored in a currency that has been recognized for thousands of years. And if you don't believe me, I have something special prepared for you guys in this video. Just take a look at this Roman denarius. It's made of silver, and it was used as money during the reign of Emperor Septimius Severus in the year 195 in Rome. So counting backwards from today, that's about 1,800 years, a little bit more than that. That silver has been recognized as money. Proof is in the pudding. But we know that, in fact, it's been recognized as money for a lot longer than that. So I'm just trying to offer a little bit of proof to back me up on that point. So to wrap it up, I believe that it is important to have 5 ounces of gold and 200 ounces of silver. Working towards this amount as a minimum is a fantastic insurance policy in the case of hyperinflation or a currency crisis, and is more than enough to bail you out in case of an emergency. And please, remember these points. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. If you are just getting into saving in precious metal right now, you do not need to put all of your money into as much silver and gold as you can buy right now. In fact, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is slowly buy and accumulate, spreading your purchases out, so you are not buying any peaks, that you are spreading out your investments so you're buying the average cost over time, which is called dollar cost averaging. The second point I really stress to remember is always buy the seller before you buy their gold or silver. There are a lot of, let's say, deals to be had on the internet now, whether you can find them on eBay or on your local Facebook marketplace site or whatever, and there are scam artists out there. The first thing you should buy before you buy the gold or silver is buy the person who is selling it to you. Is this a reputable person? If there's something wrong with what I've purchased, can I go back to this person and get my money back? And that is definitely the second point I want you to remember. The third point I want you to remember is don't overpay for things that will not deliver you long-term value. Right now, there is a massive premium on coins like American Silver Eagles. Really, all of the sovereign silver coins are going for a massive premium right now above what the spot price of silver is. Now, the fact of the matter is that there was, because of the C-19 pandemic, an issue with the supply of these coins. Not necessarily yet in the supply of silver, but because there was a slight disruption in the supply of the coins, a lot of dealers have tried to take advantage of people and bump up the prices to absolutely unreasonable levels. So I'm saying to you, if you're considering purchasing silver right now, I would say do a little bit of research and consider buying more of your purchases in bars right now so you're not paying that unreasonable premium on coins. And the last point, and I really want to stress this point for all the people who are diehard gold and silver stackers, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Gold and silver is one basket. And me personally, although I do invest a significant amount of my money in gold and silver, it is not the majority of what I hold. The majority of what I hold, and you can go back to prior videos and check this, is in real estate. I believe real estate is the safest asset to hold. Then I hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. I hold some other cryptos. I will be doing another video on crypto to kind of break down my portfolio in the future. And I also hold equities, so stocks. And then, then you have gold and silver. So all I'm saying is, we all have a different tolerance level for risk. If your tolerance level for risk is lower, certainly you might want to hold a little bit more gold and silver than I do. But remember, there are other things to invest in, and there are specifically, to use a colloquial term, faster cars to drive, especially when you're trying to build up your wealth in dollar terms. Okay? So remember that you have to also look outside of the garden of precious metals when thinking about what to invest in. Before I sign off, I just want to bring up a chart of what the price of gold and silver have been since Richard Nixon took the USA off the gold standard in 1971. Okay, as you can see, both trend lines are clearly in the upward direction, which proves both are solid ways of protecting your savings. Also, please pay attention to gold and what I said about trying to be a bit more into gold than silver. My personal split, in simple terms, is 65% gold, 35% silver. Thanks for making it this far. Drop me a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. And if there is anything in particular you'd like me to cover on this channel, don't be afraid to ask for it in the comments section. I am active there. That said, I wish you all happiness. I wish you success. See you in the next one. Do svidaniya.